Don, I want to ask you, let's say a 2 acre site, okay? How many hours do you think the surveyor should spend looking at that site? And actually, roughly how much do you think or suspect that they actually spend on a site?
Well, first of all, you are the developer and you own a 2 acre site and there's a badger set on it, right? Well, I would know, and so would any other person going onto the site trying to check out what's going on, that those badgers would forage much farther than that. So first of all, you've got to look for the supply of water, wherever that might be, because in drought conditions they've
It's important.
it's very, very important. Yes. So you've got to think, right now, whatever the development entails, and you would probably, the developer would have given you a plan of where the houses or whatever he's going to put on that site is or are, and you work on from that. You work on because you can't really tell how many badgers live on a site. People say, oh, there's only 1 or 2, but it could be only perhaps 15, because it has been seen 15 badgers, not by me, but 15 badgers coming out of the same hole.
Wow.
Yes. You see, what badgers sort out their social problems mostly above ground.
Right.
Not below ground, because there isn't room. They just tolerate each other's company a bit underground. But what is rather nice and pleasant is, if you're looking for badger sets and things like that, you look for a scratching post, which is usually an elder bush tree, ones that was maturing, perhaps 10 to 15 years old, and it's got all the claw marks where the badgers come out and have a
go.
Stretch themselves at night, and you can see when the cubs come out, you can see and you can get an idea how many cubs there are. 3 or 4, usually only 2 or 3.
Do ecologists know this when
sorry?
they go? Do the ecologists that survey a site know any of this, do you think?
Well, they all know that is what badgers do. So you try and find the scratching posts. On a 2 acre site, there's probably a tree or something that's grown. Fir tree, most fir trees, if there's nothing else, badgers will use. And also there's a play area, which is a bare patch. Most people have sort of seen the bare patches, but not really realised what they are. That's where when they first come out, they play with complete abandon, the badgers do.
It's lovely.
Rushing about, whereas everywhere else on their territory, they will go with great caution and check it out, the scent and all the rest of it. Now, your 2 acre site will obviously have strong trails going away from the set, where the local ones will be latrines, and at the extreme edge of the territory you will find latrines where they are warning other people that this is their territory. Now, in honesty, most badgers clans in the country probably range over perhaps 80 acres or more.
Gosh.
But that doesn't mean to say they need 80 acres, because in town there are places in Hastings, one in particular that I know of, where the badgers live in a very small, very, very small area, but they have to manage on slugs. And how they eat slugs, they put them on the ground and they roll them until all the slime is off, and then they eat them. And of course, you get 3 or 4 big fat slugs, that's quite a meal.
Well, they're probably doing a lot of good to the gardens around there, aren't they?
Well, that's what people don't realise, that badgers do more good than they've ever done harm for the human race. They clear up a lot of rubbish. When I was in the country park as warden up there, on one weekend from Friday to Monday, they cleared up 17 wasp nests.
Gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
and people don't realise that
So that's,
what is one little girl or boy's life worth?
mm,
You know, if they sit on a wasp nest by accident,
mm.
that people don't realise that.
I've heard people complaining that badgers dig up my plants.
Yeah, well, the point is the badger's not digging the plants up. They're digging up to take out the wireworm. That if they bought the plant from the garden centre, all those pots are full of lovely choice items that the badgers like. That's
So
the problem. And of course, if you have a new lawn laid, you should put an electric fence round it. Plus, you know, there are
why
ways.
is that? Because why would the badgers be attracted to a new lawn?
Sorry.
Why would the badgers?
Well,
be?
they roll the. It's like having a delivery from Fortnum and Mason. In reality, because what happens, they can roll the turf over, and then all the worms in that turf are all laid out for them.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So what we advise people do if they do it, having a lawn laid, one, rotivate it and get it perfectly level. Two, put a layer of very fine layer of sharp sand over it. Then some fine grow more fertiliser in with the sharp sand. Then put the turfs down. Then put some more grow more fertiliser on the top. Chain electric fence right round the lawn and water it well, and you'll have a fantastic lawn in the end, and the badgers won't touch it, especially in the years after that you treat it with lawn sand.
Right. Oh, thank you. That's fascinating.